Alright. So everyone's doing well. Puppy dog's having a bad dream next to me. But it happens. No. Yeah, she's having a bad dream. I don't think this starts today, does it? Like, it starts tomorrow. But today I just wanted to, like, do some testing again of this team that I was working on. So that is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to change Meganium's speed by 1. And then I'm actually kind of considering Mega Aerodactyl, but I don't know. I mean, you really don't need it. Like, because the question is, what would I like? Would I be doing it because I want to sash on something else? Like, not really. I think if anything, I'd be doing it if I wanted to run Serena over Meganium, because then we would still be running a Mega, I guess. Like, we have Mega Aerodactyl. But I do think that Meganium, just having those very powerful fire weather balls even in the rain, kinda, it's something, you know what I mean? Like, something to say. So we're gonna keep rocking this for now. We're gonna keep trying the team and see how it does. But I'm sure that, I mean, we could try the Serena, if I'm being honest. Like, I just think it will change. It'll change how the team plays pretty heavily, and it's something that I would have to think about quite significantly. Okay, so this is a little awkward, obviously, because their team disincentivizes Kangaskhan quite heavily, right? Something I can do is, I don't hate starting like King Gambit just because it feels like a very strong Pokemon, and then so this is definitely an awkward one, let's be honest, like, cause we're sitting here, we're looking at this Fergraph, we're not having a good time. Like, it feels like we're supposed to start Aerodactyl. We have to bring Young Prim and Scrims, and then we have to decide whether we think that Scovillain, or I mean Dragonite is the best, or Meganium, honestly. So, oof. This is gonna be a weird one. Like, because Meganium is actually not that good into certain assets on their team. But it's not like we haven't come into awkward situations before. So, something we can do here is we can just double protect. Like, I don't love it, but They're almost definitely not picking Electro Web, so... Excuse me. So they do have Scarf. I'm gonna click Close Combat, and I'm gonna click Dual Wing Beat. Or I mean, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so that was something I was a little afraid of. But we do have the Sash, fortunately. And my assumption is that this Kowtow Cleave may take them down far enough that a Sucker Punch can do it. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. Yeah. Especially with a crit, but I think we did not technically need the crit. I am gonna go for the Sucker Punch, and I'm gonna go for the Dual Wing Beat. I think if they switch for Rig, then they kind of just call me on it, obviously. So that sucks. So now we basically just need to start playing the game very carefully, right? And that doesn't mean that it's over. It just means, like, figure it out, right? So... I'm gonna go for the Kowtow, and then I'm gonna have to assume that potentially a Dazzling Gleam will do it. But this is definitely getting scary. Because I'm just not really playing well right now. Like, it's not that I'm not playing well, but like, what I technically needed to do was not protect turn 1, right? Going for the protect turn 1 is allowing them to pull all these positioning games on me right now, which is highly disadvantageous. So, I mean, like, we can do this, and we can go for this. I don't think that we're necessarily putting ourselves in a good position, but like... yeah. See, like, I just need to actually make, like, safe plays. That's kind of the problem. Like, I'm not making safe plays at all. They should have maybe Culverberry, but if they don't, like... yeah. See, so... we would have done that, we would have protected, and then we would have Prim on the field, and what's his name? And... it would just be a different game, you know what I mean? I just definitely needed to play more defensively. So obviously Big Peps is going to go for a Rage Powder here or something, and then I just go for a big Hyper Voice and try not to lose. Whatever. Yeah, so I did want to know whether or not that was going to be KO, and we know now, so... okay, so I definitely want to say that this game was winnable. I think, we just needed to play more aggressive. And I tend to play more aggressive. It's just when we're staring down the fake out, like, obviously I'm more inclined to not want to read into it, because then, what am I trying to say? They have the Scarf Rotom, right? So, like, I was kind of predicting that they were going to go for fake out Thunderbolt, but yeah. Okay. So, Kangaskhan, Aerodactyl, excuse me, Kangaskhan, Aerodactyl. I do like Meganium here, but I think it needs to be careful. Especially, like, around what? Like, really just around Rotom Heat. I think around everything else it actually looks pretty nice. Just not around, like, Aerodactyl. And then... okay. So... I do think that King Gambit actually could be very good here. We're gonna have to really, like, be careful here, because if I'm not bringing Primarina, that means that, like, I am actually leaving myself kind of vulnerable. But it's like, Primarina is also in a vulnerable position, so I'm kind of just doing what I can. They bring Floette and Sylveon. Okay, so this will definitely be a little scary. I technically don't even know which one I want to fake out right now. Like, this is definitely scary. I might actually just fake out this Sylveon, like... Sylveon is slow. I just, whatever. So I'm afraid of one thing right now. They go for Hyper. Okay, so I was actually afraid of Hyper Beam, and that I will take. So that's a little bit annoying that they live it, but this last resort's gonna hurt. Yeah, and so that's like the main thing that I wanted to do, is just make sure we get the Sylveon off the field. I don't know if I'll live Baby Pet. Let's just bring out King Gambit. So unfortunately, I would have been in a better position if I brought out Meganium, because this allows them to get the Tailwind. I had to try to flinch them with Rock Slide. And to be honest, it's still not over. We're not in like that bad of a position. But yeah, so they go for the Tailwind, and then they kind of just have to face down, like, my whole team. So, I think the concern for them right now is, like, do you even have the firepower to get out of this, if that makes sense? Like, my problem is that I have inaccurate moves, right? And nobody likes that. But I think going for the flinch chance is still going to be my best out here. And yeah, they're just going to try to wait out my Tailwind, which is perfectly fine. I'm not even going to try to wait those out. So what I'm thinking here is that they have to try to go for Dazzling Gleam if they want to get that KO. And then at this point, obviously, we just go for the dual wing beat. I mean, like, because they have, like, if they actually want to KO my King Gambit right now, they have to go for Light of Lumen or whatever, and, like, that doesn't get you out of it. So, yeah, they go for D-Gleam. They will take a Iron Head 2d6. They do live, so you gotta respect that. And then we'll just click Sucker Punch and a non-Terra Weather Ball. GG. GG. Yeah, I mean, you know, we did what we had to do. It was a little scary, let's be honest. Like, I think we technically made the right play by calling the fake out on the what's-his-face, although it still kind of felt scary. Like, I don't really think the Focus Blast would have KO'd Kangaskhan. So, like, I'm not gonna say that that was a perfect play, but, like, we won, you know what I'm saying? So. Alright, so this is some scary stuff. We've got, you know, like Encore Disable type things with, you know, the bridge, Pelipper, etc. I kind of like starting Meganium Kangaskhan here because I can be annoying to the things that want to be annoying to me. And then, you know, the Good Sir in the back, of course, because it's the Pokemon of the season for this one. And then, I'm not gonna say Aerodactyl is wrong, but, like, at some point it's gotta do what it's gotta do, you know what I mean? Like, it better freaking pull its weight, but, and so in that case, there's some reasoning in a lot of different ways. Like, I think Aerodactyl, if you're bringing it, you're literally only bringing it because, like, you think you're gonna get Tailwind in the late game, or you might in some way get off, like, a dual wing beat into Sinister, like, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like, what are we really doing? We're starting the game in Kangaskhan. So, let's go for the, Weather Ball here, and let's go for the Fake Out. Yeah, so I technically misplayed there because I should have faked out the Arch, if we were gonna call that, they go for freaking Steel Beam. And they're just gonna yoink my... So I definitely misplayed that. And now we're in a bit of a thinker here. The thinker is... How do I even beat them? So let's see here. I do kind of want to switch in the Good Sir. And NGL, I might just double target this. Tough. We are not playing this one well. Alright, so I'm gonna go for a very risky play here. And I'm gonna actually try to Sucker Punch them and call that they're not going to go for Aqua Jet this turn. Okay. So we're kind of throwing. Yeah. So it's not even like the real problem is almost that I just like misplayed from turn one, you know what I'm saying? Like, which is unfortunate, but it just be like that sometimes. You gotta kind of get used to your team. And I knew what the threat was, and I didn't respect it, right? So like, what am I really worried about from Basket Legion in that turn? You know what I mean? And because of that, we did not play the way we needed to, and we lost. Whereas, if we had just gone for the fake out Weather Ball, you know, we would have got a perfect turn. They would have been kind of shook, and we would have seen what happened. Alright. So we can do Kang things. We can do Aerodactyl things. But we also need to make sure that what we have in the back covers the rest. You know what I'm saying? So if we're doing that, like, Primarina does look really good here, I think, still, which is always nice. And then we're definitely, it feels like, not getting use out of our Dragonite as much as we would like to. Because I feel like it's like we're looking at the board state and we're like, what do I do? Do I bring Dragonite? Or, like, any of these back Pokemon could technically be good. And it's like, what do I really need? You know what I'm saying? So when you start doing what I'm doing, you have to acknowledge the fact that you don't have a good matchup into King Gambit now. And so now we're in a situation where we have to say to ourselves, do we just match tailwinds, like, right? Like, do we just accept matching tailwinds and say whatever about it? Because they're almost definitely... So this is going okay to start. Sorry, my dog is doing the dog thing. It's like, what are you doing? So yeah, we go for the rock slide. It would have been nice to double target them, but if we get a flinch, that'll obviously be nice. I'm not counting on it. But this damage will also be non-negligible. Yeah, and then... So, unfortunate. I would have liked them to not get Tailwind, but what am I really supposed to say about it? We just go for the Rock Slide last resort again. Keep doing good damage, because this King Gambit is a problem. And damage is good. So we do move first, which is nice. If we get a flinch on the Gambit, even better. We don't know what Gambit has, obviously, but we're packing some punches. And we flinch. Nice. Alright. We're moving and grooving. Yeah. GG. GG. It's kind of weird when it just says trainer. Like, sometimes it actually tells you who you're facing, sometimes it doesn't. So I still think we're kind of not, like, there's nothing definitive to say about the team. I do kind of want to try the Serena version with Mega Aerodactyl, but I also think it sounds like incredibly awkward. Let's just do this fake out Tailwind shenanigan, and then bring Mega Meganium because it looks good, and then we need to make sure that we bring like Prim and Scrims for dealing with Delphox. And it's technically not that bad into Corviknight if it moves first as well. But we do need to be very worried about their Sneasler. So that's something that I've been thinking about, you know, the Sneasler matchup, and that's kind of why Serena would actually be nice. We've weirdly left ourselves vulnerable to Sneasler. Okay, so let's dual Wing Beat and let's fake out here. I'm sure they can think of some way to make this annoying, but, you know, we're doing what we can. Yeah, so that's fine. They have Scarf there. Or, I mean, they have Scarf. Okay. So you get rid of the Sneezy Breezy Deluxe. It's definitely not, like, doesn't feel good, but we did it, you know what I mean? My guy is certainly taking it. Okay, so this is a little scary because I don't have an ideal switch in right now. Like, I don't really want to switch anything because I really want to get things in without taking damage. And what that means is that Kangaskhan is like essentially just not doing anything anymore, and that I'm banking on a miss really badly. We just saw something interesting there. Yeah! What are you... Yeah, take that. Hey man, like, I didn't want to switch. Don't tell me what to do. Like. Yeah. We hit the right one. Alright, so now we bring out Meganium and Prim, and we just do what we gotta do. We click Hyper Voice. We click Dazzling. Because no matter what, Prim is gonna move first. We will take out the Delphox if they leave it in, and then if they get the Rock Slide, Flinch, have it. Like, you can have the Flinch on Primarina. Like, fine. But they do... Okay. Please move first. Okay. Oh, that did not look good. Oh, well, We had the right Pokemon in the back. This is gonna be funny if we win. And we do. Sorry for the drop spring. Okay. So there is definitely some things to think about with the way that the team functions. Excuse me. Like, I think that pretty much every game that we lost was winnable in some way. Gardner, we got some good things there. Oh, it looks like I missed something. We got Title Tycoon, because we got so many titles now. I'm just that cool, but... okay, so if I was going to try an adjustment of this team, which I'm not saying is perfect, but I am saying I want to try it, we get Aerodactylite. We go into Jadem Box. And so we're gonna try that. And then we're gonna try this. And we're gonna try that, and we're gonna see how that goes. So I think there's a good chance that this is not gonna be a good adjustment. I also think that we have seen Dragonite really feeling like it's just not doing anything, and sometimes, like, I have to definitely admit that Dragonite came in clutch in the one match that we, you know, when we used it versus that Sun team in the video I filmed. But today it has definitely been more like either it's just like not even an option, and like I have a team of 5, or I'm not using it when I need it, you know. So let's try this. And let's also just look again when... Okay, so this actually does start soon, slash maybe is already started. Okay. So this team really likes priority. Seems like Serena is a pretty convenient Pokemon to have here. We could start, I still think, like Kang Aerodactyl. With like Prim and Serena in the back. I think we need to be careful about switching in Serena at the right time if this is what we're doing, but I do think that the Tailwind still looks good, kind of like on paper, if that makes sense. And I want to try this Aerodactyl kind of, so it's like You do need to be careful about Encore. That just means I should technically probably switch out like right away. Let's fake out the Bask because we can, and then let's Mega Tailwind. So now this does get scary because we know that, like, they should want to play some shenanigans with us, but I think that ultimately this is my best play right now. Technically, we could have switched out the other slot, but I would like to, you know, kind of be doing the right thing here. They live. If they go for Wave Crash, which they don't, yeah. They do get a crit, which is a little unfortunate. I'm not quite sure how much that's going to affect us. Okay, so low kick does more the heavier the target, which is a little unfortunate because it feels like it's not a good move right now. I'm kind of just gonna try to nuke this Sableye, I think. Okay, so maybe I could have actually gone for low kick with them playing like that. I do think that there's a chance they will still live this last resort, unfortunately. No. What do you think, John? Yeah, but we definitely don't live that. Okay. We're getting into scary waters here for sure. Bringing in Young Prim in the scrim definitely feels like a target. But I do think that, like, there is a potential that a Moonblast Power Whip does KO them. So I'm not, like, necessarily trying to bank on it, but, like, you know, sometimes you just have to say, like, let's act like they don't have Reflect and all these things. Like, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna KO them, unfortunately, but yeah. Alright, well, it's kind of nice. Except for the fact that my Tailwind just went away. So then what am I supposed to do here? I'm trying to remember if that low kick actually did more than 21. Or I mean if that power whip did more than 21. I think it did like it was either 19 or it was like mid-20s, which is what's scaring me right now. Okay, so we do get the KO on Lucario. Jesus. We go for the flash king. It actually just one-shots. So kind of why you don't use that Aerodactyl. It's okay, I guess. So I'm gonna do something risky here, and that is I'm gonna waste their time. Okay, GG's. So I need to think about like what would have gotten me out of it, and really I think I needed to lock into the low kick. So locking in low kick was definitely something that would have been a difference maker, but also if I had just not megaed my Aerodactyl and like kept my sash intact. So that's actually something to think about. Or no, I don't have sash because I have Mega Stone, so I just don't have a sash anymore. I'm like, don't mega, keep the sash intact, but that's not a thing. Okay, so there is an argument for running a non-mega team if we were gonna make this adaptation then. Yeah. And then just keeping the sash Aerodactyl. Okay, this is a little scary for sure. I'd love to start Kangaskhan, but I think it doesn't do a lot versus like half their team. Prim looks good but needs to be careful, and same with Dragonite. We really need to make sure that we can beat the Peps. So you can definitely see why the Peps are good right now. Like, I have a lot of physical attackers. They have the peppers. Like, and I actually do think that Meganium actually would have been good in this matchup. So I'm already kind of missing it, but we'll see what happens. Serena has the sauce. They do start the perfect lead though, so can you really be surprised? I'm gonna bet you that even if they don't click Raging Peppers, that this is a good play. They should click Rage Powder, and what I meant is even if they click Rage Powder, this should be fine. So, hopefully, Raging Peppers. Let's go. That was kind of scary, you know what I'm saying? Like, jeez, my gee. Alright, so we have to bring out the young Prim here. Unfortunately. Big shreds. And I think what we actually want to do this turn... Well, okay. So because they have that... Because they have that... I think I'm actually just gonna go for the Hyper Voice. That's very scary. So I'm afraid of the peps. And they do actually go for these. So that's on me. I could have called that. Probably gonna go for Giga Drain. Okay. So this gets interesting. Because this gets interesting because E-Speed should KO them, and then so should Hyper Voice. A single target Hyper Voice. But in that case, why not just go for Moonblast? And the answer would be in case it doesn't KO. The E-Speed doesn't KO. And they go for that. So... So I think something they should be wondering is if they can KO me with Sucker Punch. And then something I should be wondering is if I can get this E-Speed. Yeah, so unfortunately I actually had a winning play there and I didn't go for it. And that will be GG's. So the play was protect and low kick, right? And I kind of called that I could do it, and then I was afraid of doing it, so. I don't even think it would have necessarily won us the game. Okay, I'm not quite sure what I want to say about the team right now. And then I kind of just feel like we have to replace Dragonite or something, like, feels like it's not really pulling its weight. I think we could honestly do like Charizard X if we had a physical Charizard. But we also don't need to feel like we're drawn directly to a Mega, since we do still have Mega Mechanium. So I actually... I could do Corviknight, obviously. I could do Garchomp. Garchomp's a little awkward. So mainly it's we need something that deals with Sneasler, right? And we need... Technically, I actually think Burgraff could be good. Like, we just need to mind our speed tiers. What was I holding? What was a Dragon Fang? The rude. So we want something that's good into Sneasler, something that's good into King Gambit. I don't hate Charizard. I really don't. I think, like, it has a place. We just need to use it carefully if we were going to use it. And then... other than that... I mean... yeah, there's not really a reason we couldn't use, like, something with a scarf to catch people off guard. And that's something I don't want to necessarily say Typhlosion. I do know that Typhlosion is obviously good. So Sneasler, Kingambit. Kingambit is definitely a little harder to deal with. So what if we actually just decided that instead of the Aerodactyl that we were going to try the Corviknight again, and then we kept the Dragonite. Or, even better, we use Frigoraph. You know what I'm saying? So we've got an interesting, very scary looking dual mode team. And this is definitely... let's see, so... yeah. Okay. So this will be interesting for sure, because this is like, this is a definite dual mode team now. You know what I mean? Okay, so they have a dual mode, well, they have a Trick Room team. We have... I mean, we really can't start Kangaskhan, but we do have this, and we do have, like, Meganium. So, I actually think Meganium... Meganium is a super awkward lead. I think, like, pre-Marina, Kingambit is technically my best lead here, right? And then... we bring Kang in the back, just in case we, like, actually do get rid of their... what's-his-face. And then... yeah. Maybe I reverse a little Trick Room. I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling a little saucy. So Trick Room in Prison looks like it would be pretty nice here, if we're being honest. They do start Instant Break, which goes funny. The question is obviously, will they be dumb enough to fall for it. I guess I'm the one who was dumb enough to fall for it. That sucks. Alright, so fortunately, we can do this. I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably just gonna click, like, helping him sucker punch you. Yeah, that's good damage. Yeah, I kind of wanted that to KO, so... Now, the biggest concern is if I brought the right things in there. Try to do. Bringing Kang here was very ballsy, I'll be honest. But it's a very good play. Yep, GG's. So really, like, awkward game. It was nice that we found a way out of it because, you know, we ended up being fastest thing in Trick Room, right? But super awkward stuff. Okay. So I think the question here is honestly, like, is this a Trick Room game? I'm inclined to say this is more of a Tailwind game, but I don't really have a good Tailwind setter here. So... If we're being honest, I think Farigiraf looks very strong in this matchup. And I don't hate just starting Meganium Farigiraf and then bringing... This is where it gets awkward, right? Because then it's like, well then what, right? I might want to do this, and then I need to be very careful about getting rolled by Corviknight. So very awkwardly, we are not bringing our Corviknight here. Corviknight has not done anything yet. Kinda have to click Trick Room, kinda have to click Protect. So this isn't a hard call if you ask me, like... Yeah. So they do make the right call, which means we should probably lose. We bring out Kang. We go for Fake Out. They do have Scarf, right? So they should be switching out this turn. Which means, like, technically if I really wanted to take advantage of the situation, I should, like, Weather Ball this slot. So they do know that I Protect, obviously, now. They're not dumb. They know that I'll click it. But they go for it. That's frustrating. That's definitely frustrating. Because that just means they're playing well, right? Playing well or watching, but that's not what I would call it, obviously. So... yeah, GG's. So, I need to think here, like, what I would have really done differently. We brought, like, an abysmal matchup into certain things. They did not bring a good matchup into my Corviknight. Yeah. So I think, like, so far, if anything, the original version of the team feels the best, right? And we've been kind of just, like, fumbling around with different things. But we do need to make sure that we have answers to Sneasler and King Gambit, which, I mean, we do. Like, I can't really say we don't. Alright, so we got some Drampus here. Definitely some scary stuff. So we go for King Gambit and Meganium, kind of, with Primarina in the back and Farigiraf. I hope that's enough. Or if we're not going to bring Farigiraf because we're going to assume that we're going to get a KO, we do that, but then we can't reverse Trick Room. So we bring Farigiraf to reverse Trick Room. Still might not be enough. So we go times Rig. Don't know what I was supposed to do. Like, I mean, technically, I guess I could have gone for a better move. Like, could have gone for Solar Beam. Yeah, that's what I had to do. Even then, probably wouldn't have got a KO. Alright. So now we kind of just have to start choosing carefully, which is not that big of a deal, honestly. Like, there's no reason that I can't kind of just make the same play again. Yeah. Yeah. So we are seeing like multiple turns where we could have potentially got more damage off, right? Like, we could have done more to the whatever. We could have done more to the whatever. What I'm actually gonna go for here is that's always fun. So we'll see what they go for. Could be Heat Wave, could be Eruption. So the funny thing is that I might actually be able to just get out of this with, like, just going for it, honestly. Like, I'm just gonna Weather Ball there. So I'm sure they're getting a kick out of all this, you know? All this tomfoolery we got going on here. I will go for my own helping hand. And probably just a little bit. That's gonna hurt. GG's. Okay. So definitely awkward stuff so far. Like, I would not say that this version of the team is perfect by any measure. I can keep testing it a little. Like, I think I'm kind of just like running through matches just because at this point, like. But I don't feel like I've like learned anything necessarily through these adjustments, like, because the current version of the team doesn't feel perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, the original version still feels better. So we would have had Dragonite and Aerodactyl. Now we pretty much have to keep playing towards this Trick Room idea. So we go, you know, Kangfrigraph, which is a good start, let's be honest, that's a great start. We bring Meganium in the back, which is a little scary, but it is what it is. And then, what is good, my dude? Yeah, then we just need to be careful. Short hair with a hat. That's if you never watched a video, maybe. But nope. You know, this is what I look like. Okay, so this is definitely scary because I don't feel like I have a good last. I just need to make sure that I can beat their Sizzle really bad. Or I need to make sure that I can beat their Sizzle, basically. Not like really bad, but I really need to make sure I can beat their Sizzle. So yeah, Charlie and Chomp is fine. I will go for the Rune of Tricks and go for the Fake Out. Yeah. I mean, you always have to, like, go to somebody's page to subscribe. Like, if I'm chatting in Zach's chat, you can't really, like, subscribe from there, you know what I mean? And I don't even know if the live videos have the thumbnail thing, like the subscribe thumbnail in the bottom corner. I mean my guy, like like you did that to yourself. So I'm gonna go for this Dazzling Gleam, and then I'm gonna risk it not doing enough, and then I'm gonna go for this Last Resort. This Last Resort might not do enough. It does. Okay. Yeah, I haven't used Twitch in a while. I should, you know what I mean? I should have upkept my Twitch. You know what I mean? Oh wait, hold on. Let's not overcomplicate. Let's not overcomplicate. Yeah. Easy. So clearly this person is playing interesting. They're kinda, you know, they're kinda screwed here versus what I got. But they actually are slower than my Kang, which I didn't expect. Alright. So I still don't think the team is perfect, but I do think that Kangaskhan for Farigiraf is a good start. And if anything, it feels like we kind of should be running like 4 moves King Gambit in order to like preserve the low kick, and then dropping potentially dropping Corviknight to keep the Sash Aerodactyl, right? But then we wouldn't have the Sash Giraffe either, which we would just have to run Colberberry Giraffe, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. Like, we definitely could, you know. Colberberry Giraffe feels like it's doing things right now. So yeah, we can try the Colberberry potentially. And then, hold on a sec. It's not that there's anything wrong with this version of the team, it just feels a little bit lackluster. Like, and I'd actually kind of prefer like a dual mode version, so. We could also run Talonflame. Talonflame is a good Pokemon. Yeah. Okay, so in that case, you would do this. And you would do this. And you would consider maybe even, like I said, giving low kick to King Gambit, but I'm going to hold off on that for now. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do it. Okay. So what I'm thinking with this version of the team is it kind of just reminds me like why we do technically have the Dragonite, you know, like the Dragonite can't get faked out. The Dragonite has low kick. Be Dragonite, you know what I mean? Like Dragonite's a good Pokemon. But I actually don't hate starting like Aerodactyl Kang here with Meganium in the back and Prim. Okay, let's see how this goes. Because what I'm thinking here is if they want to try to trick room me, like they can do that. If we can match Tailwinds, that's fine. Yeah, Northern. So I actually kind of like this version of the team because now we have two very strong leads here, right? Nice. Thanks for hooking me up, my knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just gotta hook a homie up. Gave me Scarf last resort. Yeah. Alright, Maggie. I see you. I almost felt it. You know what I mean? Like, luckily we get the flincher. You go for the last resort again. You go for Alright. Alright, like. Because what can they really do to win this, but yeah. You got the wall, but is it enough? It's gotta be a fast ball. Yeah. That should do it. Sorry, my laptop is bugging out a little because the charger sucks. KO something. That's, I mean, whatever. It's fine. Bet he didn't expect that one though. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so this actually does win us the game no matter what pretty much because the double hyper voice should KO, and even if we ended up being slower, yeah, we should be fine. Gee. Yep. So what would I say about it? It is getting decently late here. We are racking up some VP, which is always nice. We got some achievements to check off. Giddy old man. You know, that's a fitting title if we're gonna say anything. I'll be a giddy old man. Like. And we got a King Gambit fan. We got a King Gambit fan here. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well though. We're definitely having some fun. I never tried this team. whatever. I think we're locking this last resort Kang. Like, I think we're having fun here. Alright, so a bit scary. I don't love the prospect of starting Kang Giraffe, but it feels good, technically. And then... yeah. So we're gonna have to be really careful here. I think we have a lot of good pieces, and it's going to be very largely about having them in the right place at the right time. And I'm going to say that the one thing that I might have done incorrectly is bringing Meganium over Primarina. And what's going to come out of that is going to be we might end up in a bad match versus like Tyranitar or something, or I don't know. Like, we're gonna see. We're gonna have to just get to it and get to it. I mean, what do I even really care about? I mean, I kind of care about not giving them any boosts. Yeah, because like I really don't think that Fergiraff's health is the most important thing in this matchup. I think we have a pretty safe, like, Deagling last resort right now. I'm a little bit worried about how these speed tiers are going to start stacking up. Because I might have given their Arch the leg up on me, right? But more than likely, I mean, I'd go after the Fergiraff if I was them, but they're definitely not going to KO Kangaskhan with one Electro shot, which is good. Yeah, so they do that. And then this is where it starts to get scary. Because, like, basically what I'm thinking right now is... This is rough. That might win me the game. That definitely might win me the game. We need to be slower here. Okay, so... Ooh, that's not enough, though. So technically, if I had started Tailwind, I wouldn't have been in like a better position, but I would have been in a position. Great. Crit last resort. No, jeez. So now, what can I really do? I don't think I can really do anything because, like, I would need them to make a dumb play, basically. Trick Room goes for one more turn. Okay, so we're definitely losing, I would say, like, it does suck that this is also a match in the actual tournament too, so we're going to be starting with a loss. Okay, so the pieces definitely just felt a little bit out of place there. The Sableye was kind of just able to disrupt the board well enough. You know what I'm saying? Which sucks, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think of what I could have done to make that a little bit more in my favor, and like, I don't really think that starting Tailwind is it, if that makes sense. So this is another situation where I don't think that, like, we're necessarily winning by going Trick Room, right? So I am actually going to probably want to lean into my Tailwind as well. And I'm going to want to start, like, Kang Aerodactyl. Kang Aerodactyl. Meganium. So this is actually, I'm realizing it feels like that, like, we just weren't facing our Chaladons, and like now that we are, it's like, oh, what do I do versus our Chaladon? Because I can do that. Like, it's not that I can't, but we're gonna find that our speed tiers are gonna matter a lot. And it feels like I'm not on the winning end of these speed tiers at the moment. So we're obviously using a silly Billy team. I'll go for the Tailwind this turn. I'll go for full damage. It'll definitely be getting scary here. See. Definitely scary. So I think in some sense I am misplaying this turn, but the other way to play would be, yeah, like, I would have doubled up the other slot and that would have felt really bad. But I also don't think that Last Resort should KO. Because they're bulky. So this does leave us in a decent position here, because I would say we can now kind of just click Solar Beam Hyper Voice and not worry about it. Like, it would be a tragedy if we really thought that Hyper Voice couldn't get it. And just because I'm worried that it might not, I'm actually gonna click Moonblast because I can. So my concern here, well, I think technically this should be fine, right? Yeah, so we see them go for that. And then I can almost guarantee this does enough. Yeah. I count tutors, but like they're pretty far behind here. Yeah, GG. So I don't think they should have switched. I think they had to try to live the rock slide and get the tailwind when they could. But you know, it is what it is. So I'm not feeling perfect about the team for sure, but like I'm gonna do what I can, right? And I might not play too many more for the day, but we're gonna see. This is definitely scary. They do not look like they have entrainment stuff, so I am gonna be able to start this, even though I don't like the way it looks necessarily. And then there's really no reason that I couldn't start they have a fast team. That's what it feels like. They have a fast team, so last would either be Meganium or the Good Sir. Yeah. So unfortunately, I did expect that at least a little. I think a question is gonna be, can I click Trick Room and fake out here? And I'm gonna say yes. So you get all sorts of characters in the whatever. Yes. I'd shake my head too. Okay. So I'm kind of interested in recruiting something just to shake it up for a sec. Oh, and then we also have this lineup that I forgot about, which had some sauce. Yay. Alright, so let me pop off screen for a second if I'm gonna actually keep playing for a moment, and I think I'm going to, because it just feels like the right thing to do right now. So I'm gonna mute myself, and then I'm gonna turn off the cam first. So the team is interesting, like, let's be honest. I do think, I don't know. We're committed, so can't really say anything here or there. So that's scary. Oranguru does get inner focus, right? So technically, like, we want to start this plus this or something, and then go like this and this maybe. This is gonna be a scary one for sure. So I'm bringing Kangaskhan almost specifically just to be annoying, like. But I do think that I can see now why I might have wanted to run Imprison over Helping Hand. And that's just something I didn't really think about. I mean, you can't change a team, right? That was fun. Totally worth it. And then they didn't go for the right slot, so that should be GG's, hopefully. We go for Kowtow here. Of course, man. Dog just peacefully. Alright, so we've got some, like, things that are gonna look dumb here, but I'm just gonna try to make it work. They should click protect if they're not stupid, but they don't. so that'll win us the game. Definitely scary stuff. I am probably gonna call it for the night so that I can deal with all that. And it is also 12 at night. So. Perfect. I mean, all you had to really do was like foul play the correct slot, if I'm being honest. But, you know, it's like, it's your life. GG. So we had some fun, you know, team testing today. Definitely wasn't perfect, but like, I think we settled on a version of the team that is doing okay so far. And we'll just kind of call it there for today. We'll pick it back up tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know. I'll probably give away this Volcarona since I can just go get another one and do a recruit thing because I can. We just got a shiny. Yo! That's a way to end the stream. That's a way to end the stream. Alright. So we got the shiny that we're obviously taking. We got a Semi-Port here. We've got a Steelix, which I don't need. Well, I do think Steelix would be cool to try, but like, we're obviously taking that shiny Azu. Avalugg, Delphox, Meowstic, Greninja. Right on. They hooked me up. Sometimes you just gotta hook a homie up. Like, can we just say it? Alright, that's cool. I wish it had... I mean, I don't wish anything. I appreciate it. I was just gonna say, I wish I could see if it had like titles or if it had like a certain size. Because I don't think we can... What does that mean? What am I doing? What's my label? What am I labeling? I have no clue what's happening right now. What does it do? What am I even doing right now? I have no clue what that just did. Okay, so shiny Azumarill. That's cool. Fresh off the grill. So I would say you would definitely want to reinvest the defense points into HP, right? So you're doing like a belly drum, Azu or something. You never know. So I do think there's different ways to run Azumarill right now. You could technically run like Liquidation, Play Rough, Ice Spinner, Protect, or something stupid like that. We're obviously just gonna make this really quick. And then the question I did have is, so it'll actually let me change this while it's on a team. So if I wanted to click Imprison over LPD, we're saying I can pretty much do that right now. Okay. Excuse me. So that's new. I kind of remember hearing something about it, but like being able to change moves while you're in a tournament, even though you have the team locked in. That is new. That is new. Unless it like locked in my moves. So we'll see next time, like tomorrow when we pick it up. But for now, that was a good end to the stream. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. So have a good night.